Independent filmmaker Ed Burns was recently on Long Island premiering his latest independent film, The Fitzgerald Family Christmas, at the Port Washington Movie Theater as part of the second annual Gold Coast International Film Festival. The film was set and shot on Long Island.
I'm one of those Long Island guys that loved his Long Island upbringing, and most of my films, at least a part of the story takes place on the island, and they're constantly referencing Long Island. So to have this film, which basically all takes place in Nassau County, to have its premiere here is a pretty big deal.
It's great showing it out here in Long Island and we shot it out here, so it's great for the people who, it's great for them to see it, So it's exciting to have an audience that can relate to the movie, be part of it.
The Fitzgerald Family Christmas focuses on the theme of family, and Burns' own parents attended the premiere, expressing the pride they had in their son's filmmaking accomplishments.
Being on Long Island with one of Edward's movies is where it all started, so it's a thrill to be here. Ever since he started making movies, he's always wanted to make his own movies. And as you know, he's evolved a little bit in Hollywood, but he always comes back to making his own personal films, telling stories he wants to tell. And that's what this movie is, The Fitzgerald Family Christmas.
And Burns says the Gold Coast Film Festival plays an important role for independent filmmakers.
It's an interesting time in indie film in that it's easier than it's ever been to get these movies made because you can make them so inexpensively. There's all these, these great new digital cameras. The challenge has always been the same. How do you get people to care? How do you get people to watch these films? And that's why, these festivals, a festival like the Gold Coast Film Festival, is so important because it helps us in that we have a venue. We have a place to go and screen our films. And as evidenced by tonight, there's a ton of people out there that still love this type of smaller indie filmmaking.
After the film premiere, Burns did a Q&A session. People in the audience say they were happy to hear from the famous Long Island filmmaker.
When you have the guy in the room, it makes such a difference. It's so personal. You get to look at him on screen, you get emotionally attached to the film, and then all of a sudden you realize you're allowed to actually speak to the guy and have a conversation with the guy and discuss what was in his head and who he is, and it's just special. I think that's just the best way to say it, and it makes it more special because he's a Long Island guy, and you could see that in the film. And so I think just in terms of the words he had afterwards and just everything about him really just talked to us. And when you feel that way about a film and a person, then you've really made a connection, and he's just brilliant at making that connection.
Later, there was an after-party meet-and-greet event for Burns at the nearby Harte Dwarvo at the waterfront in Roslyn, where Gold Coast Film Festival Executive Director Regina Gill presented Burns with the Artist of Distinction Award. Gill says having a successful celebrity filmmaker of Burns' stature participating with a film screening is really important for the second year of the growing film festival.
Super night, super night. Ed Burns, I have to say, is one of those rare entities. He's talented, he's successful, he's very famous and in the public eye, and yet he's extremely accessible. He's a real down-to-earth person. So to have him here is a treat. The fact that we've had stars of his caliber attending, supporting, bringing out the crowds, it's just good. Everybody here is going to go out there and tell their friends, and they're going to say, look what you missed, and next year they're going to come. So it's going to just grow exponentially.
Collora reporting, Long Island Online News.